Hello, my lonely trollops. I'm back with the last of my lonely trollops for this year. Orley Farm, published in 1862, standalone novel by Anthony Trollope, uh, which is like Lady Anna, which I will come back to later, is following a legal dispute over kind of the birthright of a child and how a parent's actions are pursuing that, and how the child kind of reacts to that. The By the end of the story, the adult child reacts to that. So this one is over that it's a legal dispute over a codicil to a will by Joseph Mason Sr., basically leaving Orley Farm to his single male child of his second marriage, to Lady Mary Mason. Now he dies, and this codicil is brought forward, and the son of the first marriage, Joseph Mason Jr., I never called Junior a thing, disputes it. He bitterly disputes this thing. He takes it to trial, or actually he tries to take it to trial, but basically is told, "Look, there's no way, there's nothing here. It seems to be it's a witnessed codicil, witnessed by a couple of the servants. A thing. You don't have a leg to stand on. So you can spend a lot of money on it and not get anywhere. So don't even try it." Now, but what happens is that this infant at the time grows up to be Lucius Mason, who takes over the farm when he comes of age at I think it's 21. And it's just like, "Oh, I want a farm." So he kicks one of the tenants. He revokes the lease on a bit of land on this farm. One kind of slimy, kind of not respectable lawyer, Samuel Dockrath, who gets really upset by this. He feels really hard done by that he should be kicked off this land, even though he was told at the time that he would only have it for sure until the son came of age, and then he would get to dispose of the land as he saw fit. But he's not happy about that, and indeed goes through all the papers and comes up with something. Enough that he takes it to Joseph Maynard Mason Jr., who goes through his lawyers, and indeed this gets prosecuted. And Lady Mason seems worried enough about it that she enlists the aids of two gentlemen, Mr. Furnival, the one of the lawyers of the first case, who is quite he's good at kind of staring down his opponents. Is a bit of a womanizer. There is the stated implication here that he wouldn't really be taking up the case of Lady Mason if he didn't find Lady Mason sort of in her handsomeness, so kind of attractive, and indeed he gets in trouble with his wife because of this, and there are marital issues because he seems to be sneaking around, being furtive with Lady Mason. Lady Mason also enlists the aid of a very kind of respectable, kind of the gentleman of the area, Sir Peregrine Orme. I think he's a baronet. And who owns kind of a property kind of nearby, and he has his own junior, a grandson, also called Peregrine Orme, who has a romantic entanglements within this story, and he lists his aid as well, and his daughter-in-law's aid, the son between Peregrine Orme, the elder, and Peregrine Orme Jr. has died, but the widow is still there, and Edith Orme, very kind of Christian, very kind of pure-hearted lady, also takes up the case, and indeed they get bonded to her more because that it seems like she is being prosecuted so unfairly by this Joseph Mason Jr., who is a nasty piece of work. He is mean. He is vindictive. He feels hard done by. He wants his justice, which is in some ways is his revenge. There's at one point he says like, well, back in the old days, if someone had forged a will, a codicil, they would have gotten whipped through the streets and strung up. And it's like he's hardcore, kind of hardcore in that. So and this is how the story goes through however the story goes through. Lucius has to kind of make decisions at the end of how he's going to react to what his mother may or may not have done. We do find out during the story, and indeed in one of the moves that is totally pure Trollope, he says, well, of course, with regards to Lady Mason, nobody would be of a doubt, like, what exactly she did or didn't do. That's not the big hook here. So I'm going to tell you. And so he tells you. It's like, it doesn't want you to feel stressed about that, because he's not, Trollope is so not for those kind of cheap suspense tricks, which, other authors quite rightly kind of milk for all there's worth. But no, not Trollope. He dispenses with that, and we go on with the thing. Now, I made the mistake of reading Lady Anna, a 1874 work, so a work that is like 12 years later on in Trollope's career. Before this, I just read Lady Anna, which is also about a legal battle for a child, where in that thing, the Countess Lovell is fighting for the birthright of her child, Lady Anna. And unfortunately, Lady Anna, I find, really highlights what I find are the weaknesses of Orley Farm. I'd heard the reputation of Orley Farm is it's like one of the Trollope's like great standalone novels, but I actually found it rather weak. And unfortunately, the thing that I found rather weak in it is Lady Mason. She is kind of a weak character. She's weak, I guess, morally, I guess you have to say. Basically, things that get brought to a head, they get brought to head against her will. And then when those things get brought to a head, she kind of bewails it and it shirks away from wanting to actually kind of confront it, to be honest with her son about it. I'm dancing around the stuff here, but she is kind of like a limp character. And thus, when you have Mr. Furnival and Sir Peregrine Orme, especially Sir Peregrine Orme, who is so wants to be the gentleman, so wants to support what he views as this kind of angel of a lady, and is so, well, he's so devastated when that maybe isn't the case that it just knocks the pins out of him. I needed Lady Mason to be a compelling character for me to care about as much as Peregrine Orme or Furnival. Especially Peregrine Orme, Sir Peregrine Orme cared about this lady, but I don't care about her. She kind of bewails, she suffers, but she doesn't really kind of have any freaking backbone. I mean, she did fight for her child at the beginning, but that seems to have been, it's her one thing of kind of fight was there in the past. And I mean, she goes through motions throughout the novel, but I don't feel that. Whereas in Lady Anna, the Countess Lovell is such a fiery, intense center of that novel. So kind of like, wow, what she does in that novel is got fire to it. And it's like, wow, this is a woman that like, I can see that, people being drawn to magnetically, even when they're like maybe horrified by what she does. Whereas like Lady Mason, I just don't have that. And the second issue I have with this novel is that it's sort of concerned about the legal system. And it's one of these things, I don't know if I do get the sense that Trollope is saying with this novel, it's like, did you know that lawyers, when they fight for their clients, they don't only just fight for the innocent clients, they actually they actually fight and try and protect the guilty clients. They try and protect their clients whether they're innocent or guilty. Isn't this like a moral shame? Like, how could a proper gentleman be a lawyer and do that? And it's like, that's the legal system. Having advocates on both sides to fight things out theoretically is going to get you things. I mean, Trollope does make the point that, like, justice is also bought to a certain degree of, like, a poor man cannot buy the sharpest lawyer to, get him out of legal difficulties, where a rich man can always, can get the most magnificent legal team and by hook or crook get somebody who is perhaps guilty of something out of it. There seems to be a thing of like, well, this legal system seems to be encouraging people to lie. It's like, and we have Sir Peregrine Orme. We have what I find a really loathsome character, Lewis Graham. Lewis Graham, who they seem to be like kind of like too pure for this world kind of thing. And one of them is actually, Graham is actually a freaking lawyer and actually thinks that. It's like, you're a lawyer, dude. Of course, that's how the legal system works. Why are you a lawyer if you're not willing to actually defend both guilty and innocent people? And there seems to be, there's like, oh, we bring in sharp lawyers. Oh, that must mean you're guilty because you're bringing in sharp lawyers. That basically indicates you're guilty. It's just like, I have some issues with Trollope's, what he's maybe putting forward as a view there. It's like, that seems like kind of nonsense. And maybe I'm oversimplifying things and I'm missing the finer shadings there. But that really also left me behind. And yeah, there's also, is it Lewis? I think it's Lewis Graham. There's a couple of love triangles, which, also in Orley Farm are sort of on the periphery. Like, they get brought up, about a third of the way through the novel. And I'm like, I was like, this is, Lewis Graham and the younger Peregrine Orme and Madeline Stapley, a rich rich thing, and Sophie Furnival, the daughter of Mr. Furnival. And it's like, well, why are we with these characters? Like, why do I care about this love triangle when there's this legal stuff going on over here? And in Lady Anna is a part of a love triangle with somebody who is directly involved in her legal dispute and a poorer man, which is like, oh my God, you're going with someone who's a lower class. And it really kind of brought both stories kind of jammed together, and they affected each other. And, it stymied the one plot that Lady Anna made the choice that she made in this one. And it was like, they really joined together in a like really satisfying way. Whereas in this, we have the legal dispute over here, and we have the love triangles over here, and the love triangles over here, I really feel like these could have gotten maybe merged together or lopped off altogether. I just felt they were kind of useless in a lot of ways. It's like, yes, it kind of affects how Lucius's life go on, but Graham, I hope I'm getting his name right, Graham's case, it was just like, he was a useless lawyer and he was a useless lover. It's like, so yeah, I mean, again with Trollope, even the what I think of is a lesser Trollope, still engaged, still gets me kind of, my head gets me going. But it was like, oh, I read these in the wrong order. I should have read Orley Farm first and then read Lady Anna, because then my appreciation for Lady Anna has now grown from having read Orley Farm, whereas Orley Farm seems that much lesser when I have, especially so freshly, have Lady Anna in my head. So yeah, that's a big thumbs up for Lady Anna yet again. And Orley Farm, it's okay. It's okay, is all I can say. It's a shame that Lady Mason wasn't as compelling a character for me. That undermines Sir Peregrine Orme in my mind. And I still need to kind of wrap my head around what point is Trollope trying to make, other than, you know, the law is different from justice, from right. You know, there's truth and justice, and then there's the law, and they're two separate things. And of course, we want to use the law to kind of pull away kind of all this kind of personal nonsense, but it does turn it into kind of a bit more of an abstract game, and not necessarily one that is a game of being an honorable gentleman. Being honorable is maybe not something that enters into being a lawyer, which I guess, you know, maybe a lot of people still have trouble with today, that people get very worked up and angry over lawyers for not being honorable, where lawyers are like, we're not trying to be honorable, we're trying to work within this kind of a system that is imperfect and adversarial, but is maybe a way to try to regulate society. I don't know. All right. More videos later.